I go to the Father now, so I pass my mantle to you along with the keys to the kingdom. So go forth and do the works that I have done. He said, behold, I give you the authority to trample on serpents and scorpions and over all the power of the enemy, and nothing shall by any means hurt you. You shall tread upon the lion and the cobra, the young lion and the serpent you shall trample under foot. I want you to loose the bonds of the wicked and to undo the heavy burdens, to let the oppressed go free, that you may break every yoke. Heal the sick, cleanse the leper, raise the dead, cast out devils. Freely you have received, so freely you give. And have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather expose them. And behold, I am coming back quickly, and my reward is with me, to give to everyone according to his works. I am the Alpha, the Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last. Blessed are those who do his commandments, that they may have their right to the tree of life and may enter through the gates into the city. This is the life that we are called to steward, an extraordinary life abounding in fullness, committed to an extraordinary and loving Father. Extraordinary means going beyond what is usual, regular or customary, exceptional, uncommon or rare. That is the type of life that we are to lead. Exploits mean notable deeds, memorable, heroic acts. So we are to live this life that where our acts are almost considered heroic. They're uncommon. We do exceptional and great and amazing things. We are not those in the bleachers. This is not a spectator sport. But Jesus said, he who believes these things will accompany those that believe. We are to be a people that goes beyond the usual, regular, and ordinary in our notable deeds and actions, pushing into the unknown fearlessly. Well, you lost me at fearless, right? But where is the church? He is saying, I have so much more for you. Why are you living in the ordinary? Why do you still think within a box whenever what I have for you is unordinary? It cannot be comprehended. It goes so much past what we think or comprehend. It is when we push past the ordinary, the agenda, the format, the rituals that we see the extraordinary. It's once we get past all that stuff that we start to see the extraordinary in and through our lives. Monday night, I woke up at 1:30 in the morning. I was sweating. I was angry. I was wore out. I had a vision, and I'm going to share it with you this morning. There was something going on in the city, an event, a Christian event. There were 50,000 people at this event. I don't know how long of an event it was, whether it was a couple of days or whether it was just 20. It was a long event. And it was supposed to end at 2 o'clock. And you know, whenever there's events, people start leaving 5 minutes early, beat the rush. And that's exactly what happened. People started leaving 5 minutes before 2. And then who was going to lead or exit the prayer got up to speak, but it was 2 o'clock. So he didn't even speak. They started wrapping up all the equipment, turned off the generators, and everybody started leaving. And the Lord's heart was grieved. It was so grieved. And that's where I literally woke up angry and sweating, because it was such a real and vivid vision. But his spirit was grieved because we could not wait another minute. We cannot wait to get his spirit to pour down upon us. He says, I was about ready to pour out my spirit, But your agenda was more important. Your time frame was more important. What you were doing was more important than what I was about ready to unleash upon this city. You all came to experience me. You all came saying that you hungered for me, but you could not watch and wait not even one more minute. And he was so grieved. And the city did not see what it is that they were crying and praying about, because we had our own agenda. And is that not what's going on? Do we not search for the things that we want versus saying, Lord, you lead me to what you want? We're searching for things that are not of Him. We're content with the ordinary, with what's normal, with the way church should operate, should act. And whenever anything is outside of this little square, all of a sudden we get uncomfortable. But is that where His presence is? Is that where He wants us? Is that where He's going to pour out His Spirit? But He was grieved whenever we stay on our own agendas and plans. That's why we say, Lord, keep us in step with what your Spirit's doing. May all things be disposable whenever you say we're going to go right and we're planning on going left. But may we be yieldable in His hands. He was saying because we couldn't move our agendas and time frames, He couldn't move His desire as He desired. Because His move was outside of our agendas, expectations, and schedule. We expect the extraordinary at the docks along the shorelines. But He is saying, go into the deep and cast your nets. Go to the place that others fear to tread. And this is the church that He is raising up. Not the church that we perceive. He is saying, where is my people that are bold and fearless? That whenever obstacles and opposition come, they push right through it. They push through their own wants, needs, desires, so on and so forth, in order to go where I have called them to go. Anyone ever made a covenant with the Lord? Those late night desperate pleas? Was I the only one? Lord, get me out of this mess. Lord, I commit myself to you. Lord, if you get me out of this situation, I will serve you. I'll give you all that is within me. Lord, may this legal problem go away. Lord, put my family back together. Lord, get me out of this mess. Lord, I will. And was he not faithful? But we basically signed a contract when we called upon him and he said, Lord, I'll make an agreement with you. Lord, on my behalf, can you take care of my life? Can you pull me out of this mire and muck? Can you do this? And he does. He got us off of the shoreline, as Greg was speaking about a few weeks ago. He placed us upon the dock. And we committed to him, Lord, I will go anywhere you want me to. I will do anything that you want me to. And he kept his end of the deal. And he's saying to his people, when are you going to fulfill your side? When are you going to go? Because I have called you to go. But yet you're still sitting in the exact same spot that I rescued you from. But many of us have had those pleas, cries. Save me from this affliction, and I will go as far and as deep as you want me to go. All that I am and all that I will ever be is yours. Keith Green had a song, No Compromise. Make my life a prayer to you. I want to be what you want me to. In other words, Lord, everything that is within me, I give to you. I don't want my life to be a life. I want it to literally be a prayer, an incense before you. And Lord, may I not walk in any type of compromise, but whenever you say go, I go. Whenever you say stop, I stop. Whenever you say speak, I speak. But no compromise, no surrender. for you are worthy. And he showed himself strong on our behalf. He moved you from the shoreline to the water. He filled your vessel with provision, and he has repaired your sails and healed your ship. Then he said, be strong and of good courage. Do not be afraid nor be dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. I will be with you wherever you go. Has he not spoken that to all of his children? Every single one of us? But much of the church hasn't left the shipyard or the docks and is still sitting in the same place that restoration came. Many years ago, there was a young man, I don't know if I gave him a ride to church, but it's like, how long you known the Lord? 10 years. What are you doing with it? I'm still waiting for him to tell me what to do. Hold on, folks. Waiting? He said, go forth, make disciples of all the nations. Whenever we don't know what he wants us to do, we could at least open up his word and see what he tells us to do. That would be a good starting place. He said, go lay hands on people and heal them. He said, go cast out demons. He did say to do these things, and that blankets all that believe. Right or wrong? Of course, we ever hear this expression, at least I'm not where I was. We've probably every one of us said it too, right? But are we where we ought to be is the question. It's one thing not to be where you once was, but are we where he wants us to be? The word says, I'll be with you wherever you go. But there hasn't been any get up and go in our going. For many, this is a word of encouragement. Church, you're being called. You're being commissioned. You are being called to go loose the bonds of those that are still in captivity. We run up and down the docks like we're on fire, but the glory isn't on the docks, it's in the deep waters. In Revelation it says, I know your deeds. You have a reputation of being alive, but you are dead. You're not on the shore, which is a good thing, but you're not too far from it. And this so ties in to what Greg spoke about a few weeks ago. You're not on the shore. You're not on the dry land. That's going to destroy you. But you can still grab it. He says, why are you so close? Why are you still so close to Egypt? I opened up those Red Seas for you to walk through, but you're still on the shore. You're halfway through the Red Sea, but you still got your eyes turned backwards and not looking forwards. It also says, I know your deeds, that you are neither cold nor hot. I wish that you were one or the other. When we remain docked, we are stopping the blessings of heaven. We are withholding the seed of the kingdom of God that he has implanted within us. Do you know we carry precious seed, each and every single one of us? Andy, you are a man of God, and God is going to use your voice, and you're going to speak things forth, and people are going to hear the words coming out of your mouth, and they're just going to fall and crumble before his presence, because he has something in you that he wants to pull out. But he said, get away from the dock. That's not where you belong. I've called you to be out in the middle of the sea. You also, brother, each and every single one of us. He's calling all of his children, go deeper. You're still playing with the minnows, and I got whales for you to catch. The fear of leaving the docks keeps us from the glory and power that is found in the deep waters. What do we fear? Most generally, we fear the unknown. We are familiar with the shore. We're familiar with the dock. in which we set year after year. But why do we fear the unknown? If we've never been there, why would we fear it? Does that make sense? Mankind fears the unknown. Well, if you've never known it, then why do we fear it? If we've never experienced the deeps and the deep water, why would we fear it if we've never been there yet? But what's out there? What does tomorrow hold? What unfamiliar things are out in the deep? There could be a storm. Isn't that what brings fear to us? But the storms rage upon the docks as well, and it also sweeps across the land. Will we allow our ships to be beat up against the docks because we won't set sail? I may face resistance heading into the unknown. You will, I guarantee it. There have been many brothers and sisters of God, and it breaks my heart. They start to step out. All of a sudden, a wind hits them in the face, and they turn back, and they go back to the dock that quick. So quickly, we run back to the dock. There will always be opposition, heading out into the deep water. Every single time. And for sadly, as soon as it hits, as soon as the waves come crashing back, they quickly turn back to the docks and sit there. Their gifts, calling, anointing, are bound by their fear of failure, ridicule, and the unknown. I've experienced much resistance over the years myself. Well, think about it. Let's say you're in a raft and you're heading out to sea, out into the deep. What do the waves do? They're always going to push you back to shore. Every single time. But once you get out past a ways, does it not calm down? But the few little waves that hit us in the face, we turn back. But I've experienced resistance quite a few times myself. Back, I think about 2010, we went over to Solid Rock with Pastor Larry, a church plant. Instant opposition. Instant. The birth of the sanctuary. Instant opposition. Walking into this building. Instant opposition. Setting up a tent to minister to this city. Instant opposition. It all comes with resistance. Every time we set out to go someplace that we haven't been. It always comes. Well, that doesn't sound very encouraging. Well, maybe there's a reason for that. Perhaps the resistance that we face is a test. Is to test the level of maturity and resolve that we have. If we're going to turn back as soon as a wave hits us, then we had no resolve to get out there in the deep where He's called us to go anyway. And we're called to stay in the kiddie pool. How do you separate the adult from the child? Put something difficult in front of them. Right? And where He has His church to go, it's not going to be for the faint-hearted. Where's all the love and tenderness? Where's the warriors in the body that He's called us to be? Where's those that will not stop whenever opposition comes? That will cut through anything and everything to get to the destination that He's called us to go? Are we secure enough to go where others fear to go? Are we strong enough to slay the giant that strikes fear into 10,000 warriors? Will we raise our staff and part the waters, or will we stand on the banks and tremble? We sang that song, we have this hope as an anchor from our soul, which I love that song. Yet we won't test the holding strength of that very anchor that we boast in because we have never launched into the deep. It's one thing for that anchor to hold at the dock because you're tied up and around the dock anyway. But you get out into the deep seas and drop that anchor. Is it going to hold? Is it going to hold? That very anchor that we talk about. He's saying, go out onto the deep, throw that anchor out and watch it hold. Genesis 12, 1 through 4. The Lord said to Abraham, get out of your country, from your family, from your father's house, to a land that I will show you. I will make you a great nation and will bless you and make your name great, and you shall be a blessing. I will bless those that bless you. I will curse him who curses you, and in you all the families of the earth shall be blessed. So Abraham departed as the Lord spoke to him, and Lot went with him. And Abraham was 75 years old when he had departed from Haran. He said, hey, Abraham, I want you to leave everything behind, all that you know and all of your securities. I want you to walk away from the life that you know and are familiar with and go where I will send you. Don't forget, this is the father of faith. I will bless you, provide for you, and open up doors for you, and you shall be a blessing because you have obeyed my voice. I will bless all that bless you and curse all that curse you. For you go in my name and with my authority. You know, this is the same thing the Lord's told each and every one of us. So Abraham departed as the Lord spoke to him. I'd like to point out, how old was Abraham? 75. So Abraham wasn't like in his 20s, spontaneous. He was in his 70s. He was probably very secure and well provided for. He had his family, his 401k, his Mercedes in the garage, and the Lord told him to trust. Okay, the Mercedes maybe not, but think about it. He was a mature man, 75 years. He was probably doing all right. And the Lord called him and said, get away from everything. Do you trust me, even at your age, to go and to drop everything right here, right now? Think about it, some of you that are retired. You have built up something in your life to fall back, right? The Lord said, walk away from it. I'm not telling you to walk away from everything. That's not the content of this message. The content of this message is if he calls you to go and do that. But Abraham stepped out in faith because the Lord called him. The Lord told him to trust. So in his 70s, he walked away from everything. Hebrews 11:8, it says this, by faith, Abraham obeyed when he was called to go to the place which he would receive as an inheritance. And he went out not knowing where he was going. It says that he was called. Anyone called here? Yeah, you're called. Abraham was not led by experience, skill, charisma, or education. He was not led or moved by where everyone else was going, and he was not doing what everyone else was doing. He was not led by his desires, wishes, or wants. He was led by God's voice. It says he was moved by faith in what God said to him. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. He had evidence in his hand and in his heart, and the evidence was 2 words. God said. How much more evidence do we need? God said. That should settle it right there. God said. And this is all that he needed. According to this scripture, faith brings about obedience. It says he was told to go out to the place. Don't remain where you're sitting at the dockside, but rather go. So what'd he do? He went. Many might say this: where's my inheritance? Where is my promised land? Where is my blessings? Where are the things that the Lord has promised me? I'm waiting, I'm waiting, I'm waiting. Where are these things that you showed me, Lord? Where are these promises that the prophet gave me? Where are these things? I don't see them. And I've been waiting 5 years already. You haven't received your inheritance because you are not in the place that it is in. It said Abraham had to go to his promise. It didn't just arrive. When I was 14 years old, I had a vision of me being in Haiti. At the time, I did not know it was Haiti. I knew it was a black community, and I was working on a church. I knew that. And he would send me overseas. That's whenever I was 14. And in 2010 is whenever I went to Haiti. So it would have been what? Maybe in 45 or so. So from 14 to about 45, that promise was waiting over there. Why? Because I had not arrived where the Lord told me to go yet. I was not walking with him. I was not serving him for all those many years. The promise, as soon as it came from his mouth, it was a done deal. But I was not equipped and I was not ready to receive that promise yet because I was not standing where he wanted me to stand. Does this make sense? Yeah. Many of us get frustrated because we're waiting on the Lord to do something. As soon as it came out of his mouth, it was already done. So we're not waiting. He's the one actually waiting on us to get to the destination that he's chosen for us. But we want to get mad and say, is there even a God? He hasn't done what he said. Well, have you? Ooh. That vision could have came to pass whenever I was 17. That vision could have came to pass whenever I was 22. But I was not ready to receive what he had. The very place that we're standing right now, these things were shown to me whenever I was 16 years old. It just took me a few days to get here. So his promise does not necessarily come to us, but sometimes we have to go to it. But if it has come out of his mouth, it's a sure thing. Some of you are not walking in your blessing because you're not walking in your own, because you are walking in your own blessings. In other words, he has called you and you're still relying on your own strength, knowledge, and wisdom. You are waiting for your promises to come to you. When are you going to go to your promises? Well, I see that, and it breaks my heart. Like I say, we got brothers and sisters in Christ that are so frustrated because they start to step out. They get a little brush up against them, so they give up, and they're still waiting for the promises of the Lord to fall upon them whenever they haven't even got out of the dockyard yet. And he said, get out of the dockyard and go. And some of you are walking where you're not called to walk. And you're only receiving fragments of the blessings that he has for you. You're moving, but it's outside of what he has for you. Outside of his calling for you. You are sitting in Sodom and don't even know it. You have chosen your own ground and not listened to what he has spoken to you. You are hearing your own voice and don't even know it. Well, that's kind of sobering. My goodness. The blessings and favor of the Lord really show up when we're standing exactly where he has called us to stand. Not that he won't bless us in other areas, but it's not the full blessing. Take it to heart. Lord, may I always be right in the center of your will. He has a permissible will for us. He told me many years ago, go out and have fun, do whatever you will in my name's sake, and I will bless whatever you put your hand to. He told me that. In other words, have fun in my kingdom. But we can narrow it down. Lord, what is your exact will? What is your perfect will for me? That I might walk in the fullness of my life and my calling. Because there is a sweet spot. So if I'm walking outside of it, I won't receive all that he truly has for me. He's going to bless me. He already told me that. But the greater blessing will come in his perfect will. Favor flows from the city that he has built, not the city that we build ourselves. It says he went out not knowing where he was going. Abraham left there. He was going someplace he did not even know. Many times the Lord calls us to go somewhere we don't know. Oh. But we have to have proof. But if he said, that should be all the proof. That should be all we need. But he didn't know where he was going. Lord, where do you want me to go should be our plea. What do you want me to do? What if he's simply saying, this is where I want you to go? Away from the dock. Take a step. Just take one step. Lift your sails and start moving, and I will lead you to your destination. But he said, back away from the dock. And we haven't even done that. But where do you want me to go? Back away from the dock. I'm not going to give you order number 2 if you haven't followed order number 1. Israel was told, when you see the ark of the covenant of your Lord, the Lord your God, and the priest, the Levites, bearing it, you shall set out from your place and go after it, for you have not been this way before. This is whenever they're crossing the Jordan. By directing the Israelites to fix their gaze on the ark, God redirects their focus of their journey from their uncertainties to his consistency. Isn't that all we need? Is to know God's consistency. I know you haven't gone this way before, the Lord acknowledges. But if you keep your eyes on me, I will show you the way. The church is coming into an era where our faith and trust in God's provision and direction is our certainty and sure footing. All other things will shift and dissolve underfoot. I guarantee it. That's pretty big words. Watch. Everything that we put our faith and trust in outside of the Lord, it's going to shake. It's already begun. It's shaking. It's shifting. The sand is floating away. Only sure footing we have is keeping our eyes, hearts, and minds focused, fixed, and set upon the Lord. And he's saying, I have a direction for my church. Because all of creation is waiting. The Lord is calling us to greater trust and reliance upon him. Our calling is not to be set in a stagnant water along the dockside, but rather out upon the deep, the uncertain exploits that await those that know their God. There are mighty things that he has for each and every single one of us. And Lord, I pray that this truly saturates our hearts. It gives us encouragement to go where we have not been before. Every single one of us, Lord. Father, that you would take us underneath your bellowing waves, Lord. Father, that you would give us encouragement. You would give us the ability and strength to step where we've never stepped before. Father, that we would trust you. If you say right, we go right. If you say left, we go left. But Lord, that you would instill within our hearts this quickening in our spirit whenever you say we do. No questions asked, even if we don't know the outcome. Abraham was sent up a mountain with his boy. He didn't know the outcome, did he? He only had one thing. He knew that he could trust the Lord. Right? And we think we're tested sometimes. Oh my goodness. Question is, do those that will not embark actually know their God or God? Those that will not depart the dockside, do they know their God? Do they know of his faithfulness, his fullness, and his never-ending protection and provision? Do they have the anchor of faith buried within their vessels that will hold them during the storms? Does their faith produce obedience even during uncertainty? The glory of the church is not at the docks, not in the format, not in our own abilities. The glory is walking in faith, which is our certainty and security. You want certainty? Walk in faith. We were made to sail upon the deep waters, resting in our certainty of who he is. What is it? God is who he says he is, and he will do what he says he will do, whether we know where he is sending us to or not. This does not change his faithfulness. Us knowing is irrelevant. Actually, it's quite prideful. Lord, I will, but you have to tell me. Huh? Do we do that? Yeah, we do. But if you think about it, there's an awful lot of arrogance. Is he God or is he not? If he says he will he not? He who dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say to the Lord, he is my refuge and my fortress. My God, in him I will trust. Surely he shall deliver you from the snare of the fowler and from the perilous pestilence. He shall cover you with his feathers, and under his wings you shall take refuge. His truth shall be your shield and buckler. You shall not be afraid of the terror by night, nor the arrow that flies by day, nor of the pestilence that walks in darkness, nor the destruction that lays waste at noonday. 1,000 may fall at your side, and 10,000 at your right hand, but it shall not come near you. So let us run this race that is set before us, looking to Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith. Then we go back to this little girl 2,000 years ago. Had to step out on faith too. Whenever an angel come and said, hey, this is what's going to happen to you. You've never been with a man before, but the Holy Spirit's going to come upon you and you're going to conceive and bear a child. Because with God, all things are possible. And her response was, may it be so to me according to your will. And that is a heart posture that he is wanting from each and every one of us. Not our will. What is it? Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. You are his will on earth. to go forth and be, to carry the seeds that he has planted within each and every single one of us. We all have special gifts, talents, and skills. And whenever we're sitting at the dock, not stepping forward, well, what if I fell? What if you do? You're in his hand. Will he not pick you up and let you try again? I stepped into all this. I didn't know what I was doing. I still don't know what I'm doing. But yet here we are. What was the prayer last week? Help us to forget how to do church. May we repent of knowing how to do church. May we just simply be. You don't have to try. We don't have to try. We just have to be. He has said, trust me. Lean not in your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge you, and I will direct your steps. Abraham didn't know what he was doing. But the Lord spoke and he did. And I know the Lord's speaking to many of us. Whatever the holdup is, lay it before the Lord. He is gracious, he is good, and he bears with us. And we're not going to hit everything 100% all the time. We're going to slip around. Oops, I'm really messed up there. But what's the Lord do? Come on, son. Come on, daughter. Let's go after it again. But at least you responded whenever I spoke to you. He's asking for obedience, not perfection. Okay? Sometimes we get that backwards. We think he's looking for perfection. He is our perfection. Behold, the maidservant of the Lord. Let it be to me according to your word. The church needs to really reevaluate where we are. I could say that was a very sobering vision that he gave me on Monday night. Very sobering. The numbers were there, but completely missed his move because we were still on our own time frame and agenda. He's going to show up when he shows up. He's going to do what he decides, when he decides, and how he decides. We're not going to control anything. The only thing we can do is be yieldable in his hands and say, here I am at any given moment. Lord, pour out your Spirit upon me and through me. Just have your way. For he is the only one worthy. And he's saying this morning, my little child, you are searching for certainty. Do you not know that I am your certainty? Many have stood where you stand this day, uncertain about tomorrow. Have I not told you, do not fear for what it brings tomorrow? All those that have placed their trust in me have flourished because they were planted in living waters. I have instructed you to lean not on your own understanding, but rather rely upon my faithfulness, and I shall direct your path. The path that I have for you will lead you down life, joy, and abundance. You will have no need and no want, for I will be your need and want. The path that I have for you, you cannot carve yourself, for you cannot conceive the things that I have in my storehouse for you. My storehouse is open for you. My abundance is waiting for you. You are the delight of my heart, and I will not withhold any good thing from you. Trust me, lean on me, follow me, for I have given you the keys to my kingdom and the fruit of my field. So I encourage you, take your ropes off the dock, lift up your sails, or lift up your anchors, set your sails up high, and say, Lord, blow on me. Blow your Holy Spirit upon me. And when we see those waves coming at us to push us back to the shore, which is exactly what they will try to do, we will have enough wind in our sails to continue the voyage out into the deep blue where He's called us to be.